AUDL presents Ultimate Greatness, a series showcasing the most memorable games, athletes, and storylines in the history of professional Ultimate. Welcome to a world where the majestic floating disc redefines possibility, and even at the pinnacle of competition, spirit and integrity still reign supreme. Previously on Ultimate Greatness. In a pair of hard-fought semifinals, the Dallas Roughnecks' brilliant offense delivered a 32-goal outburst to narrowly edge New York, while the Madison Radicals' dominant defense soared to a hot start and never trailed in their 5-goal win over Los Angeles. And now we encounter this epic championship matchup. The Roughnecks, an established powerhouse program, seeking their second title in 3 years. And the Radicals, perennial contenders who've always fallen just shy of the ultimate goal, desperately hoping that this is their time to become AUDL champions.
This is going to be a dogfight. We had lost to them in 2017 pretty handily, and we had just gotten off one of the best wins in Radical history against the Aviators in the semifinals just before this. And there was no way that Dallas was getting out of this game alive.
Dallas had to slog it out a lot, over 50 points played in that game. More than that, over 60 points played in that game in the hot sun. With the injuries they've had, this is really going to test that Dallas depth.
Dylan Larberg launches the opening pull, and the 7th AUDL championship game is underway. Madison on offense with Pat Treiwise, Ben Nelson, Peter Graffey, Colin Camp, Avery Johnson, Dave Wiseman, and Scott Riggles. Deep shot looking for Peter Graffey against Dalton Smith, and Graffey rises up for the opening goal.
Look how soft this Madison defense is. Every single cutter defender is backing, forcing Dallas to go under right now, and they have a poach in the lane from the handler set. They're trying to get it to his sideline now, put it in Malachek's hands. He had a couple of turnovers yesterday against New York.
Chris LaRock, Matt Jackson, Brandon Malachek, the handlers, Jay Frood, Connor Olson, Thomas Slack, and Carson Wilder downfield.
Wow. Pretty physical and bumping downfield on Jay Frood.
You got Kanaki on Frood. It's Pruce on Olson.
This man D looks outstanding from Madison right now.
What's so good about it?
Well, just no easy resets and not a lot of space downfield. Shot goes up deep.
Olson, he's got it. Defender went tumbling by, and we're tied at 1. Couple successful hucks for each side early.
He's going to be really important because it's going to be hard for Dallas to be efficient without Kevin Richardson on the field.
For the first time at championship weekend, Andrew Brown is on the field. This is a difficult reset, and it's saved by Dave Wiseman. Andrew Brown was inactive yesterday, but he takes Tom Annen's spot in the Radicals lineup today. Annen dealing with some injuries. Kevin Brown almost hit as he threw.
Got to be a foul on that throw.
But Peter Graffey makes the foul inconsequential.
Peter was doing what Peter does best that entire game, where he was just skying people left and right, and it felt like he shouldn't have a chance at a Frisbee, and he'd come down with it and make it look easy. And he was definitely the focal point of a lot of our energy that game.
This heat is unforgiving. It adds an extra 5 or 10 degrees from just walking around on the streets. The turf is just really heating things up out here. Wind-wise, conditions are still, I think the crowd is still filing in and should be louder as this game goes on.
Frood looking for Wilder, and the young fella out of Texas Tech delivers. Big ups in the finals.
Wow. Seeing KPS close on that, seeing the defender right in the frame. I didn't like the throw from Frood, but hindsight's 20/20, man. Heck of a play.
Both defensive coaches actually have to be pretty happy with the start, even though they haven't produced a turnover. I think it's just we're settling in and we're going to figure it out. It's going to be a long game. Some scores already.
There were 62 goals in the first semifinal yesterday. Peter Graffey shoots it deep. Treiwise versus Larberg, and there's the first turn of the game, courtesy of Chris Larberg of the Dallas Roughnecks.
And great adjustment on the mark there. That should have been a backhand huck. The mark adjusted, forced it to be a flick huck, and that really gave Larberg the opportunity to go up and get that D.
Yesterday, the Roughnecks were unbelievable in their efficiency of converting break opportunities. Here's Kaplan Maurer out there with Dylan and Chris Larberg, Dalton Smith, Griffin Miller, Zach Marbach, and Ben Lewis. Kaplan Maurer has become a really reliable quarterback for the Roughnecks. First-year member of this Dallas team. It's amazing, guys. Only 6 guys playing for the Roughnecks today who played 2 years ago in the title game. Miller to the end zone, right on the money. And it's these young guys like Griffin Miller and Ben Lewis who have stepped in. Dan Emmons said he plans to contribute by being the loudest guy in the stadium today on the Roughnecks sideline. And knowing Danimal, you can imagine he will have a hoarse voice by the end of the day. Estes goes up. Weiland is there. Nice shot. And a quick answer. This is basically the Madison D-line that converts in 13 seconds. Thomas Coolidge showing off the versatility. And Nate Bosher, his first point of championship weekend, was inactive yesterday. In Tim DeBile's lineup today. You see in the mid-upper 80s. Not all that substantial of a breeze here at Breeze Stevens Field. We're tied at 3. The Roughnecks have the game's only break thus far. Difficult throw. Wilder's bid couldn't save it, but Thomas Slack keeps possession alive.
Already we're seeing a lot of these throws be contested, and Dallas is coming up with them. That's the difference in the game, and can they keep it up? If you're a defensive line player or coach, just keep chugging along. It's going to result in turnovers eventually.
Matt Jackson to Jay Fruit, resets to the Madison native Brandon Malachek, who uncorks a hammer. It's just shy of the end zone to Wilder. LaRock doubled. Wilder finds him anyway. Madison back on offense. Dallas leading by 1. Opening quarter. It's Madison's 3rd trip to the title game. They lost to Toronto in a close one in 2013. Lost to San Jose in 2015 as Schreiwise seeking camp in the end zone. Dylan Larberg gets there first.
I thought the absence of Emmons was going to really hurt Dallas, but the Larbergs may have taken that as a personal affront because they came to play today.
It looked like Camp had that sized up, but Larberg just hit the boosters early.
Yeah, he just attacked it harder.
Timeout called by Dallas. The mids are Bosher and Pruce with Kanaki and Jack Kelly on the outside near the sideline, and the turnover.
Pays off.
Exactly what you talked about. You get impatient. You get bored. You have great throwers on the field. One of them can obviously hit that throw more often than not, but pays off here for the Radicals.
Remember, this is a Madison 0 point. Logan Pruce a little shaky. Wonder if Tim DeBile's considering a timeout. He does have Graffy on the field to help quarterback this. Well, here's Mechanix shooting it deep for Kanaki. One-on-one with Wilder. Near the sideline, Kanaki delivers. 7 yards from the goal line. To Graffy in the end zone for Madison.
Guess they're going to go love the man matchups.
Marty on the mark. Here's Dylan Larberg. Chased by Coolidge. It's Drews on Jackson. And Kanaki downfield on Frood.
Madison's probably got the better legs today. So I'd be, I like it as a changeup. I like the zone as a changeup, but it might be good to just run these guys into the ground.
You're going to have to do a combination of both. You want to change the pace. You want to make Dallas go fast and go slow. We saw how they got impatient. And here there's not any flow.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of thinking. There's so much more decision-making in these kinds of points, and against zone, it's mentally taxing. And when you get physically tired and dehydrated, 2 long, hot games.
Looking for Frood, Kanaki nearby, and Frood tips it, and then bids, and he's got it! Goodness gracious, Jay Frood delivers for Dallas. Andrew Brown centers to Ben Nelson. Camp, Kevin Brown, Dave Wiseman, Peter Graffi. Wriggles downfield. They're looking for Camp again. Near the sideline, Camp got this one. Landed just shy of the goal line. Needs at least one more throw. And he squeezes it through for Peter Graffi's 4th goal of the game.
Now, this defense for Madison, if they've been running it the way I think they are, they're kind of keeping somebody in the last back position at all times.
And yet Slack goes deep and the throw fades away. Not even close to the sideline. This is going to give Madison tremendous field position.
Well, that kind of highlights, it's hard to throw that same third going away huck. Part of the reason it's hard is because you need to have like that perfect outside in shape, start it out of bounds, bend it back in. Some of these guys make that look so easy, but there's no room for error. And we saw that there.
KPS.
So I just turned the disc, and Muffin has it now, and he slices one upfield. It's kind of this huck, this little floaty look. And I have this opportunity to get the disc back after I turn it against my former teammate. And so this is the first time really that I've had a chance to guard Jay, and there was no way I wasn't getting that Frisbee back.
But not when KPS is in that close of a vicinity and with that great a position.
There's a lot of players in the league you could say this about, but when a guy turns it over, there's a look in their eyes and a determination to get the disc back. KPS might be the captain of that team. Here's Coolidge shooting it long. Marty reads it well. So many Madison Hucks have been landing a yard shy of the goal, but this time it's Pettit Scantling converts the bookends. Chase Marty with a nice grab there. He's one of the young radicals, just 23. Picks up the assist after skying near the goal line.
Madison is coming down really soft in every single possession. They figured out that Dallas wants to shoot deep, and they've just done different things to gunk it up each time.
Good patience by Dalton Smith, waiting to get through the double team, and they made that more difficult than it needed to be, but Chris Larberg bails out Kaplan Maurer at the front of the end zone.
Curving back to where the defense can make a play.
I'll tell you, Brian, Dylan Larberg has been a playmaker all year, but he's also been a bit of a chucker. Only completed 86% of his passes during the season.
And now, with these players out, you have to rely on new people. We saw Slack throw it out of bounds, and we've been singing Slack's praises for a while, but it's been as a reset for many years. He's got to do some growing fast.
Underneath to Camp. Lefties it out of the reach of Brown. Gives it back to Dallas, and time's winding down. And there was a foul, and was there any time left? No. That's the end of the quarter. Offsides on the pull, another mistake, giving Dallas the disc at midfield. Brian, what's your penalty for your teams when they go offside?
A lot of yelling. Those are the things you can control, and it's just never a fun moment on the sidelines after that.
So that's why people think you're so angry when you're coaching. A little less stressful here in the booth, we hope.
It's always fun with you and Chuck.
Lots of yelling, though.
When you see the athleticism like we've seen, it's hard not to get emotional. Connor Olson with the disc. Resets to Jay Frood. Frood with one layout score in the first quarter. Oh, there's Thomas Slack laying out to keep it alive. And now Malachek shooting it. Matty Jackson up the line near the sideline. He can't get it. He felt Coolidge from behind. He went up early, and it was off his fingertips.
It may have been off his fingertips, but that's a weird decision by Malachek.
And Coolidge shaken up, coming off the field.
Who can keep people uncomfortable the entire time? Because all these players are talented enough to recognize how to play through different defenses. You have to keep the other team guessing. You're going to have to change it up, provide different looks. This is shaping up to be a real classic.
Peter Graffi came in for Thomas Coolidge. Kevin Pettit Scantling resets to Victor Lua. And now the disc in the hands of Graffi. And he'll rip it. Looking for Marty. Marty's got a couple inches on Slack, and he read it really well. And you can't say the same about Dallas's slack. It's an easy score for Madison. A break to begin the second quarter. Marty to Kanaki.
You see a lot of hesitation from Dallas on offense. They're doing a good job of being patient for the most part. But these cutters are just trying to figure it out who goes next. Matty Jackson was sitting in the lane. Didn't make any moves early on.
This disc hanging. Dalton Smith goes and gets it. Get the feeling Smith is going to need to be more involved on offense as this game goes along. And we saw that against Dallas in the South Division Final. He kind of took the game over in the third and fourth quarter.
This is Madison locking in and getting comfortable. You don't see any options here.
They got the stall even before the throw. Madison will have the disc in the red zone, and this crowd is going bonkers at Breeze-Stevens Field.
And Jay Fruit is walking down the field to get to the matchup. These guys are slowing down. Now, I don't know if it's just a momentum thing or if they're tired, but either way, they need to snap out of it, get back in this game. It's the second quarter. This is a long game.
Adam Drews to Nate Bosher. Drews all alone. Matty Jackson wanted Malachek to switch, and there was no communication whatsoever. The first multi-goal lead of the game belongs to Madison.
It's a very kind of clam-centric defense where you have a lot of switching going on between the cutters downfield, a lot of smart switching, looking for opportunities to double team.
What are the fundamentals of the clam defense for those who aren't familiar with the term?
It's really using a diamond formation downfield. It doesn't have to be quite a diamond, but the cutters communicate. You have one guy manning the deep.
Wilder hammer is hanging up there, contested and ripped away. Thomas Coolidge did it again.
Doesn't matter whether it's Graffy back there, Coolidge, KPS. You have a guy manning the deep space, communicating switches underneath. And it's confusing Dallas right now, and especially when you have to put on those subs.
Madison currently on a 4-1 run after they trailed 5-4. Looking to add to it. To Marty underneath. And Marty's a guy that looks really fast right now. Certainly Kanaki does as well. Luo floats it to Bruce. End zone too far. Oh, that's a missed opportunity right there.
So many things you could say as a coach. Got to bend that pivot knee. That throw goes better. Got to wait a beat. He's wide open. He's not going to. You have no mark.
Lewis chased down by Mechanix. Mechanix got there first. It feels like everyone on Dallas has been zapped of their energy. And these are the Texas boys.
Yeah, you'd think they'd be used to this kind of heat.
You had a chance to keep a lot of those players for Dallas there, keep tiring them out, even though your D-line may not be as efficient as your O. I just think you're winning the energy battle. Just keep that going.
Right before this game, my girlfriend told me this thing. She said, no longer say that we can, but say we must. Put some urgency into it. Tell your teammates that. And so I went into this with a meditative state of we must. And so I shared that with some of the captains, like, we must do this. We must.
Peter Graffy has Riggles. He floats it. Riggles, can he extend? No! Victor Luo sending it too far, and now Peter Graffy. And we got Graffy shaken up behind the play. This would be a huge momentum swing if Dallas could work 80 yards down the field and punch it in. Low throw. Miller makes the sliding grab. Tough play. Back to Dylan Larberg. To Dalton Smith. And there's Joel Clutton.
If you're Dallas right now, just get to halftime as close as you can. You need that rest. Go sit in the shade. Recover. Because Madison has your number right now, but they haven't been executing.
Clutton shooting it for Marbach. I don't know about this matchup. Kevin Pettit-Scantling was there. Marbach had a second chance and couldn't come up with it.
And he fouled him. Kevin Pettit-Scantling agrees. Contact on the play.
That was a 1-on-3 situation. And for Madison not to get that D.
Yeah.
Surprising.
I think, you see that throw go up too, and it's just like, look, we need to try to find a way to score some goals. Things aren't coming easy, so let's take some shots and hope for the best, and they got a foul.
And there's a Roughnecks goal, Marbach to Clutton.
And this is a D-line offense out here for Madison. A great time to throw something funky.
Ferruda with the bid, and on the landing he tripped Weiland, so 10 free yards for Madison. Weiland, Boscher, Coolidge, Mechanic, Luo, Preuss, and Drews. Drews forced to stumble to make the grab. Maurer sets the mark. Certainly a very different pace compared to Dallas's game yesterday.
Man, I really don't trust Victor with the disc. Every throw, the pace, the shape is a little off.
There's great handler defense from Kaplan. Maurer intercepting the reset. And then he scoobers out of the double team, but Victor Luo comes up with a D. Contact called on the mark. Officials for this championship game: Josh Cooper, Jeff Maxted, Jeff Peters, and Brian Bradburn. We got another whistle. After we saw 12 total goals in the first quarter, only 3 so far in the second quarter, 3:45 to play in the half.
And really, it's a story of defense picking it up, both teams getting a little bit locked in. Madison just missing some opportunities. They really should be up by more this late in the second quarter based on how well their defense has played.
Colin Camp to Kevin Brown. Daring throw. It worked! Peter Graffi with a heroic bid for the Radicals.
Dallas has had that problem because Madison's been really locked in. Let's see if they continue that kind of deep defense. Great pull to start things off.
Another amazing pull.
Nate Boscher not messing around on the pull.
Basically 100 yards on the fly. Dalton Smith to Jay Frood.
Madison is playing pretty loose, just taking away a lot of deep looks, forcing certain players out. You see here, they're trying to make Malachek become a deep cutter. That's not a win for Dallas whatsoever.
When you say they're playing loose, is that a bad thing?
No, loose is not necessarily a bad thing here. You just give them a lot of space, ability to switch, contain.
Olsen looking for Jackson near the sideline. What a grab. Inbounds. Jackson maintains possession to Olsen.
Thought that throw was tipped potentially.
Yeah. Well, it might have been tipped, and this was a triple team, which is going to allow Dallas to center the disc. You can double team in the AUDL, but if you got 3 guys defending right on the disc, that's a violation. Good call by Josh Cooper, the trailing referee, and nearly another triple team here. And I think they're going to call that exactly.
What's the word for 5 players?
Vicinity?
There's no signal for the referee for 5 players on the mark, I don't believe. I think it's just a triple team.
And what happens if you've already gotten the disc centered on the goal line and then they triple team again? I mean, I feel like that should just be a goal at that point. It's like you can't really advance the disc anymore.
I mean, I think if
half the distance to the goal.
If the referees deemed it purposeful, they could call it unsportsmanlike. That could impact the next pull.
Right, otherwise there's no reason not to triple team, right?
And this is that end zone that Madison has been known for.
Dallas able to punch it in. Chris LaRock to Connor Olsen. Have to imagine Bo will be back. What team will he be playing for? Seemed like you really enjoyed this run late in the last couple months with the Empire. Putting things together, assuming a leadership role.
The refs have done a great job this weekend of letting the players play, but there's been 5 whistles in the last few points.
Riggles turned on the Jets to run that one down. Clutton was nearby. And then a laser beam that floats just enough. Brandon Malachek double teamed to LaRock. Jackson, Slack, Smith, Frood, and Olsen out there on this 0 point for Dallas. Final minute of the second quarter.
Madison and Tim DeBile have put so much thought in here how to handle these end of halves, ends of quarters. You have to be intentional about it in some way, and here it's trying to run out the clock. There was a minute left. Can you make Dallas go slow? Make this to a point where you can carry that 2-goal lead going into halftime? Or maybe even get a turnover out of it from some impatience.
Under 20. Jackson swings it. And the crowd trying to fool the Roughnecks with the early countdown. Certainly they talked about it, and they're staying calm now with 7 seconds. Jackson, hammer, end zone. Intercepted, knocked away by Kanaki. The Madison defense stands strong.
Now, in 2017, we had lost to Dallas in the regular season for a cross-divisional game, and they beat us pretty handily. So we've had a chip on our shoulder ever since then. But to add to that, Jay and Abe, some of our best players in 2016, had left our team to go play for them during that season. And so this was our opportunity to really prove ourselves.
Madison begins the third quarter with a disc. Colin Camp stumbles, but he's back on up. Peter Graffi was icing his right hand at halftime, but now he's back on the field and going deep near the corner of the end zone. He's not going to have a chance to make a play.
Right off the bat, you see Dalton Smith drawing that Graffi matchup. That's something that Emmons would have taken. And Smith, we've talked about him before. I think he's best as a handler defender, but he does have experience kind of being that athletic D-liner on the field.
Dylan Larberg accelerates to maintain possession, hammers crossfield for Miller. And here's Chris Larberg, about 3.5 years older than his younger brother Dylan. Athletic grab by Smith, adjusting. This will be a huge moment to start this third quarter, and the Roughnecks convert. It's a break. Couple overthrows in the end zone, short range in that second quarter. Costly mistakes. Kevin Brown hammered from behind by Ferruda. They did call it a 20-yard unsportsmanlike. It's Ferruda's first. If he were to get a second, he would be disqualified from the game.
I think that's a good call. There's just no way to make that play without going through Brown's back.
Well, Madison's D-line has been the unit that has given them so much energy. This is mostly a D-line look right now on offense. Low throw, high enough for Coolidge to Weiland. And there was a pick called before the throw. So this one's coming back, and the Radicals just are having trouble finding that sink that they were in the first half.
Well, I think both defenses here are just locking in.
Oh, what a grab by Luo. And a violent landing near the sideline after saving possession. This is tremendous athleticism from the 24-year-old.
Yeah, a little air bounce backhand out to space by Drews. Kind of gets away from him, but Luau makes him look good.
Dallas is 45-5. And that throw belies the excellence we've seen from these two teams through the years.
And another air bounce backhand that gets away from them, and now a third air bounce backhand.
Intercepted by Weiland. Drews over to Brown. Circled his cut to get around Clutton. Coolidge, tight space up the line, runs it down into the end zone. Bruce elevates for the score.
And it'd be nice to see Frood get going here. It's been awfully quiet this game.
Had a couple good plays in the first quarter, but you're right, Chuck. Ever since, he's looked a little fatigued, which is understandable. Back to Jackson. And a touch for Slack. Slashing up the line, playing catch. KPS just holds his ground. Now Crew switches back on to Slack. Pettit Scantling on Jackson. Weiland on Malachek, who fires into another Radicals block. This time it's Graffy.
It almost doesn't matter if this defensive line scores for Madison here. You are tiring out every single playmaker on Dallas. Of course you'd like it. You want to build that lead like Chuck said earlier. But man, no matter what the outcome here, you got to celebrate this. This is going to be a battle of attrition throughout the rest of this game.
Injury timeout. Kevin Pettit Scantling shaken up, walks to the sideline.
I think it's defensive adjustments, and both teams are pretty locked in. At first, Dallas tried to force Madison out, and then they figured out that Madison was getting comfortable. Here for Madison, they've run through the playbook. They've done really good by playing loose, not allowing easy Dallas scores, forcing them to work it. That's what you need to do.
Oh, that was a bullet that Bruce was able to snag with one paw. Taking advantage of the double team, Graffy slices it for Camp in the end zone. Largest lead of the day for the Madison Radicals. He has the hammer if he wants it, and he throws it to the open man, Ben Lewis, in the end zone. Andrew Brown looks downfield, takes the free 10 yards to Dave Wiseman, who launches long, looking for Riggles. Clutton defending, battling for the angle, and it's interference on Clutton.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's a bad call.
That's garbage.
Clutton's got the inside position. Riggles goes down, slips on the turf. Oh,
That's ridiculous. I don't blame Clutton. He's asking him to call it off, and Riggles is going to take that. That's absurd.
There's contact in the lane. Dalton Smith bumping Colin Camp on the cut.
So here's what I think. If this gets chippy, which is starting to get chippy, that definitely helps Dallas. So maybe, you win the battle, you lose the war here for Scott Riggles. You don't want to get these guys angry. Right now, Clutton's not doing a whole lot of anything, but you might have just woken him up.
And that was not a good pull.
They've had a couple bad ones. They put Bosher behind the disc, which helped, but Luo had 3 pulls in the first half that were miserable.
Jackson floats the hammer to Olsen. To Frood. Here's LaRock. A lot of space on that open side for him to look to, but he takes the reset. Jay Frood, who broke into the AUDL with the Madison Radicals. 2 years in Madison now, last 2 years with Dallas. And there was a whistle as this throw went up. Olsen does not make the catch. And we'll see how the officials resolve this.
Looks like a 2-4-1 formation. Getting those defenders out wide, trying to force those hammers.
Under 3 minutes to play in this third quarter. Jackson to Slack.
Just neat penetration here from the handlers. Look at how much they're sitting back, and they might score this way, and that's fine, but just be aggressive with those handler crashes through the middle of the zone, force the zone to collapse, throw around it. Here, Madison, you can see the defenders, they don't have to move that much, right? They're jogging around, they're in position. You love this as a zone defense. All right, well, we don't have to move that much. We don't have to expend that much energy. We can see everything happening in front of us.
Dallas finally punches it in after taking nearly a minute within 5-10 yards of the end zone. Dallas will receive to start the fourth. Important thing to think about as we tick under 2 minutes to play and the possible double score situation to either get back within one or potentially tie it up or take the lead.
I would love to see more coaches like Tim DeBile, who gives so much thought here to the end of these quarter situations.
Griffin Miller, run through D on Avery Johnson. Young man out of Spring Hill College. And the deep shot goes up. Lewis tracking it in the end zone. 3 Radicals combined to prevent Lewis from making this catch.
We talked about those little plays, right? It's the garbage collection after the tipped disc. When your team has all that effort coming down the field, outnumber the receiver 3-1, makes a huge difference.
Try-wise. Had 5 assists yesterday. You could say Pat has been relatively quiet today as Wiseman shoots it deep. Can Graffy make another play? Yes! Graffy skies Smith. Tremendous grab from Graffy. Dalton Smith thought he had it all the way.
And Smith can get up in his own right, but Peter Graffy.
Yeah, nice play and a couple choice words afterwards from Peter Graffy.
Peter Graffy used his left arm to brace himself on Smith's back on the landing. Ball lands in bounds. Critical 40 seconds right here for the Roughnecks.
Zone defense here from the Radicals once again. They were able to prevent the goal at the end of the first half. Can they do it again? Need Handler aggressive cuts through the middle here. There's just those passes backwards are great in the sense that they reset the stall count, but Matty Jackson should be really aggressive here. He's at his best when he's moving the disc quickly and then sprinting upfield. Right? Look at how much space he could take.
Nice vision there from Malachek finding Wilder. And LaRock is in the end zone with 3 seconds left. Remember, no Dan Emmons, no Kevin Richardson to patrol the deep space. Kevin Brown gets it off. This is going to make it to the end zone. Who's going to come up with it? Final seconds of the third. It's tipped and caught. Pettit Scantling makes the grab for Madison. Breathing life into the Radicals' championship dreams.
Kevin Brown gets the disc, he rifles it between 2 marks, and it goes this perfect angle where the Wolfpack is like already conjoined. And I jump way too early, but land perfectly in place to catch the deflection, and just the crowd goes crazy. And we kind of have the same energy, and I'm super excited, and Colin Camp's super excited, and just the team has this like new momentum that we didn't have just before that. And it really pushed us forward to the fourth quarter.
Dallas with the disc to start the fourth, trailing by 3.
Right now, Madison is just sitting on the deeps. They're behind all the receivers. They're forcing Brandon Malachek to go be a deep cutter, which I think that's a win in my book.
So they're basically trying to force Dallas to bleed time off the clock.
I think it's matchup dependent here because you see guys like Slack being forced out. Make him be your deep cutter.
Yeah, Kanaki deep on Frood. Malachek is going deep, but that's not the target in the deep space the Roughnecks are looking for.
And it's not that Malachek is doing something wrong by going deep. He's the one right now with a lot of energy. He's the only one on this team doing that.
Pettit Scantling with the footsteps right behind Jackson. This disc floated up. Malachek can't get it. Was he fouled? Yes. Chase Marty got him from behind.
That's a good call.
Dallas has already taken 100 seconds on this point. They trail by 3. Slack, nice job setting up the cut, gains yards with Marty defending. Continues to Carson Wilder. And here's Frood in the middle of the field. Unleashes deep. LaRock isn't going to get there. He doesn't have the legs. And we tick under 10 to play.
And this is the play that we're talking about that separates a great Jay Frood performance where Dallas wins and comes back versus that. He's got that throw wide open.
Drews sending Marty. Slack and Frood trailing. Marty jumped too soon and Frood cleans it up. Four turnovers on this first point of the fourth quarter. And multiple Roughnecks are struggling. Looks like Carson Wilder cramping over there.
Run a handler dominator, it doesn't matter. Do something, because Madison's been settled into the same defensive game plan since early second quarter, if not late first.
Thomas Slack at midfield with Mechanix on the mark. Lefties it ahead. That's into the defense of Coolidge. Coolidge is clutch. Over and over again for Madison. Year after year at championship weekend. Of course, he had that one play at the end of the Seattle game where he didn't come up with a disc, but I think every other play he's made. But Madison gives us the 6th turnover of this point.
Does it matter, though, at this point?
Well, time continues to tick, but they'd love to be up by 4 instead of 3.
I think you're making this Dallas squad so tired. It's going to be really tough. Dallas has to figure it out really quick.
It's tough, too, when, Jay Frood puts up a deep shot and his receiver kind of just quits on it. I mean, it makes you think, like, well, how are we going to score? If we get an open deep look, I don't know if we can close out. And if we try to work it underneath, man, I don't think we got the legs to do 100 throws down the field.
Well, you're just not seeing the O-line adjustments here. Like I said, I mean, it doesn't have to be something dramatic, but maybe a different offensive look. Here it's just playing right into Madison's hands.
And Jay Frood's walking. Just threw the disc and he's walking slowly towards the action. I mean, it tells you a lot.
There was a stall. The 7th turn of the point. Kaplan Maurer trying to argue that he got it off. Tim DeBile throws the flag on the field, signaling timeout, trying to get the crowd fired up. And this place is packed. There are probably 1,000 fans sitting under that overhang at the far end zone. They're hard to see because they're in the shade, trying to stay a few degrees cooler as Colin Camp gives the fans reason to cheer, keeping possession alive. This marathon point to start the fourth quarter. Riggles is going, but Wiseman holsters. And then, Kevin Brown keeps it alive, unleashes deep. Colin Camp has to come back for it. Not in the end zone yet. Back to Brown. Riggles. Try-wise, evades the landing of Larberg and then scores for Madison.
Our offensive line, which has struggled in the past in high-pressure situations, was not at all. Our defense was getting blocks, and not only blocks, but converting and getting scores. And we were going to win this game.
I thought we might start to see that zone from Madison to slow this game down. 4-point lead, 6 minutes to go. Dallas has not been efficient working it through their zone defense.
Pettit-Scantling with excellent defense on Olsen. Jackson is slack. KPS poached off, but recovered with the help of the poaching D of Jack Kelly. To Smith. Even if Dallas can punch it in here, it's taken them more than half of the fourth quarter to get a goal in the final frame. Another contact call to Jackson. And he'll zip the flick through to Maurer. Dallas within 3, but only 5:05 remaining. Clutton and Chambers set the double team on the sideline. And Nelson hammers it back to Graffy.
I don't love a double team look necessarily. I mean, you can use it, but Madison's just really good with that in their own right, so they're going to be comfortable. Their offense has played against it in practice.
There's the deep shot. Wiseman looking for Johnson. He delivers. Avery Johnson gets big for Madison. 4:44 to go. The Radicals' lead is 4.
Now at least Graffy is just strolling down the field. And it looks like we're going to see that zone. 2-4-1 coming out. Just going to make Dallas have to work it here. Dallas can't. They have to be more aggressive. They have to find ways to beat it. And if it's going to be...
Well, here's the deep shot looking for Olsen, and he gets there. But he's shy of the goal line. To Frood, and he's in. Graffy was close. And he's shaken up. Squeezes it through. Schreiwise gives it right back. Oh, Wiseman has Colin Camp wide open. Again, it has the look of a zone defense, although Graffy was just hanging out deep. Now he's going to come up as Madison matches up.
I don't think they like the way that Malachek sliced through that zone with one throw, and so they're just doing a big kind of soft backing defense. No easy deep shots. Make them work.
Looking for Maurer. He had him open, but the throw is too far.
Yeah, he was open, Evan, but that's a timing cut. Maurer is still making his in cut before that disc is thrown. Makes that jab step in, ungraffy, goes deep. And those types of timing cuts, you either have them and it's chemistry or not. And you know, how often is Maurer playing offense for this squad?
Graffy looking for Pettit Scantling. LaRock can't catch up in time. He drops off. KPS flings it to the end zone for the Radicals score. Pettit Scantling to Marty. 5-goal lead for the Radicals.
Got to score fast. No Jay Fruit on the field. They're trying to score quickly and then maybe get him out there on the D-line.
Here's Clutton with Weiland defending. Oh, great handler defense by Coolidge. Forced the reset, difficult, and then Dylan Larberg, the somersault to reset. Is that a travel?
That's awesome is what it is.
Under 2.5 to play. This crowd roaring in delight. Lewis is there for the score to get back within 4, but only 2:19 left.
Kevin Brown within reach there.
Back to Graffy.
They don't mind taking that 25-yard loss. And here, Madison, I would be shocked if this Tim DeBile-led team just doesn't try to play keep away here for the rest of the 2 minutes.
There's not a lot of pressure.
Right. And I mean, just kudos to Madison's coaching staff, because I think we're seeing a coordination right now, and it's because they won the chess match. Dallas was a little bit depleted, of course, with some of their big-time athletes. But all the work they put in, all the specialization of figuring out how to play defense.
Not in the end zone yet. That might be good news. They get to bleed more time off the clock. It looks like it's Madison's day. The Radicals, under 90 seconds to go, lead the Roughnecks by 5. A couple years ago, Tim DeBile told Ultiworld, look, we've shown we can compete at the highest level, but competing and winning at the highest level are not the same thing. Radicals a minute away from garnering their first championship. And there's a layout from Mechanix, and he's called for a foul on Olsen.
He's disappointed. He wants more. Hey, Mechanix, you're about to get a big trophy. You don't need to be worried about your stats right now.
Right. He looks genuinely disappointed that he's about to win a title, but he didn't get a run-through layout catch block.
That was very close.
Well, it's no longer going to make the highlight reel, so.
32 seconds left. Dallas scores to Griffin Miller.
I think, a win like this, it puts something into the culture of the program. Madison is now a championship city in Ultimate. And there's something to that. You get used to the idea that, hey, championships happen in towns like this. Players from Wisconsin beat great teams. That's so valuable for the future of Madison Ultimate. I think it's a bright one.
Legacies you talked about at the beginning of the game, and what does this do for Pat Tri-Rise and Colin Camp, Kevin Brown, and then Andrew Brown? Is this his last game here? Tom Annan.
The most satisfying countdown in Radicals history. For the first time ever, the Madison Radicals are the champions of the AUDL.
Winning that game felt like we were justified, like we had been validated as a team. And for so long, we were a team that was good, but was never going to make it. And it took us a lot of losing to figure out how to win, but we did it. And popping that champagne open, and nobody getting to drink any of it because it was all over us 5 seconds after it opened. It's just an incredible feeling. The whole experience, all 6 years, all 7 years of it, like, you just can't get something like that back.